Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining Candid Meena every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. And thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, to share it with your friends and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you for your support. Welcome, Jaydev.
Yeah, good evening to all the viewers. And I was very upset today. After hearing that Aryan Khan has been given a clean chit. My whole evening was spoiled. And let's get on. Discuss this
Yeah.
case.
So today, I would say that every SSRian was caught by shock when the NCB filed a charge sheet in the Cordelia Cruz drug case, where it has been revealed that possession of narcotics was on all except two people. We are talking about Shah Rukh Khan's son, Aryan Khan, superstar Shah Rukh Khan's son, Aryan Khan, and Mohak, citing lack of evidence. Now, NCB gives Aryan Khan a clean chit and Cordelia Cruz drug bust case. Before we start this, I'd just like to show you a small video of the media meet with the NCB before we continue with this. So, Jaydev, shall we show them that?
Yeah, just 1 second.
Yeah.
Run by S.N. Pradhan, who heads the NCB, said today your team has filed a charge sheet in this cruise drug case wherein you have arraigned 14 people as have accused and Aryan Khan and 5 others. You have not charged them for the case. So, can we say that you have given clean sheet to all these 6 people, including Aryan Khan, and on what grounds you have given this clean sheet?
See, as of now, whatever evidence could be found till the last date of the charge sheet, which was today, we have gathered the evidence. The SIT, which took over after some irregularities were found, procedural irregularities in the initial investigation by the local unit, SIT had to take over, and that happens only in the rarest of rare cases. After taking over, after doing a professional investigation, thorough investigation, we came to the conclusion that physical and other evidences which are relevant would be found in the case of 14 persons, and in case of 6 persons, sufficient evidence could not be found. So we stuck to the principle of beyond reasonable doubt, and on that principle, this action was taken and 14 were charged.
So when there was no drugs that were seized from Aryan Khan premises, so was it right on the part of the Mumbai unit to have arrested him? Do you justify that arrest per se, because now you have given a clean chit to him?
In investigation, subsequent facts always clear up the matter. So I would not immediately jump to blaming the initial unit because they must have had their reasons initially. But subsequently, when it was clear no possession and there was no corroborative evidence which could link for another recovery also. So
Make
on the
it
basis
bigger.
of that, so it is a subsequent revelation or subsequent, point of investigation, and we have stuck to whatever we could find on ground or corroboration wise, and then we have taken the action. So I think it is a fair conclusion that we have come to. But if there is any fresh set of evidence or fresh set of facts, we can always relook the case.
So, but now you did say that there were grave irregularities in the conduct of the earlier team who handled this case. Any departmental action that have been initiated against the earlier team?
I think that's already in the public domain. We have launched an inquiry into the vigilance allegations, and the SIT, present SIT, also has come up with some of the gap areas which were initially in the initial investigation. So, on the basis of both these, appropriate action will be taken.
So, you did say that there were no evidence per se to connect Aryan Khan with the other accused from whom the drugs were seized. But earlier, the earlier team had told the court that Aryan Khan might be part of some international drug network or drug syndicate, and they relied on WhatsApp chats, mere WhatsApp chats. How do you see that argument or the stand of the
Okay, they would have, if they would have been proved right, and the WhatsApp chat would have been corroborated by physical evidence or recovery, then it would have been okay. But the principle of WhatsApp chat has been already pointed out by the honorable courts that the WhatsApp chat on itself cannot stand unless it stands the scrutiny of subsequent revelation of physical evidence or corroborative evidence. WhatsApp in itself does not mean much. So this is a very clear stand that has been taken by the jurisprudence. So we,
Yeah.
being a professional agency, we must take cognizance of that, and just on the basis of WhatsApp, we cannot take a call on in itself. So
Yeah,
that
I
is
think
what we
we
have
can
done
stop at that.
wherever physical evidence was found.
Yeah, we can stop at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we were talking about was, what I was yesterday. In fact, I had tweeted that Aryan Khan seems to have put on a lot of weight. Usually, people either lose weight or put on weight when they're stressed out, and now he looks quite rather healthy. So I'm sure he would have undergone a lot of stress regarding the Cordelia cruise. Okay, moving back to the case. See, NCB gave him a clean chit. In the final charge sheet, it has stated that no possession of narcotics was found on Aryan Khan. According to the NCB, Vikrant, Ishmeet, Arbaz, Aryan, Gomit, Nupur, Mohak, and Munmun were arrested from the Cordelia cruise on October 2, 2021. All the accused persons were found in possession of narcotics except Aryan and Mohak. Initially, the case was investigated by NCB Mumbai but was later transferred to Delhi headquarters as a political row erupted over the case between the Maharashtra and central governments. Here, I would like to very clearly say what was the row between both the governments. Of course, was the fact there was total interference by the NCB, NCP Nawab Malik, who wanted to, because his son-in-law was caught in a drug case by Samir Wankhede. So obviously he had something in mind when he started hounding Samir Wankhede and his whole family. So this whole case came in between, and Samir Wankhede, being, as we have seen, a righteous officer pursuing his job very in dedication, was not only he was pulled up, but his whole family was pulled up. So this was the case that they're pointing out to now. In its statement, NCB said that the investigation was carried out by the SIT, which is the Special Investigation Team, in a very objective manner. The touchstone of the principle of proof beyond reasonable doubt has been applied. As per SIT's probe, a complaint was registered against 14 people under various sections of NDPS Act. However, due to the lack of sufficient evidence, no complaint was filed against the rest of the 6 people. In the charge sheet, now let's just look at the charge sheet. The Narcotics Bureau had told in the court that Aryan Khan used to procure contraband from his friend Arbaz Merchant, who is among 14 people charge sheeted by the SIT. Now, Singh told Hindustan Times that the previous investigation team, headed by the zonal director Samir Wankhede, could not prove the charges. According to the SIT head, Arbaz told the officials that Aryan Khan had told him not to bring drugs, as a drug consumption charge against Aryan didn't stick, so his phone was opened without following legal procedure. Now, they say Aryan Khan was not in possession of any drugs. Now, as we were systematically as media following the news at that time, day by day. At that time, okay, if Mr. The people now sitting in the NCB are not aware, the reports came out, and I'm sure they saw it, in which it was said 3 grams of cocaine, 21 grams of charas, 5 grams of MD, and 22 MDMA pills have been recovered. And now, when they say that Aryan Khan was not in possession, it was also reported on October 3rd that Aryan Khan, Shah Rukh Khan's son, was carrying cocaine in his eye lens cover. And this was according to top NCB sources. Now, all these people who are now giving press conferences were all there at that time. Okay, the NCB had told in court that Aryan Khan used to procure contraband from his friend Arbaz Merchant, who is among the 14 people charge sheeted by the SIT. Now, Singh told Hindustan Times that the previous investigation team could not prove the charges. Now, on October 3rd, And they said that he was, they even the phone was taken from him without any, without any following any legal procedures. Now, well, as per reports on October 3rd, let viewers read this again, know this again, that Aryan Khan and others were brought back to the NCB office after a medical checkup. Now, this is one of the things that they've said, that he didn't have a medical checkup. So that is also wrong. After the medical checkup, Aryan Khan, along with Arbaz Merchant and Munmun Dhamecha, were brought back to the NCB office amid heavy police deployment. Now, if you need proof, Republic covered it very well. Republic said Aryan Khan, along with other detainees, being taken for a medical checkup, and this was all shown. Now, if these people in the sit are saying that he didn't have a medical checkup, that is wrong. Okay. As the interrogation continues, sources informed Republic Media Network that Shah Rukh Khan's son, along with other detainees, will in some time be taken. So this was the whole procedure was done. Security was deployed outside the NCB office before the detainees were taken from NCB office for medical checkup. Now, NCB wants to confront Aryan Khan, Arbaz Khan, and Munmun Damecha with the drug peddlers. It was at that time. Meanwhile, the central agency had asked the three arrested to submit their mobile phones and other electronic gadgets. NCB will be sending the gadgets for forensic examination. This is a procedure. What are these people talking about in this? I don't understand. When it's a part of a procedure, how can they question it now? Prabhakar Sale was one of the witnesses in the case, told SIT that he was made to sign blank papers by the previous investigating team led by Wankhede. Singh said that the blanket arrests were made under similar charges, which were not legally tenable. Sale died of heart attack, they say, at his residence. Now, the SIT also told Hindustan Times that the four Cordelia event organizers who were arrested had no knowledge about any drugs. We checked their contract and found they were not responsible for frisking, checking, and ensuring people boarding were going to consume drugs on the cruise. Now, of course, a cruise of that size and price, which is making huge profits, floating just on sea, doing nothing else, is not going to leak out the truth. Now, here again, when you say that, Aryan Khan had signed a paper saying that, he was in possession of drugs. What do they mean to say that he was threatened? What do they? I mean, is there any proof to that he was threatened? He's not a child sucking a lollipop, so he signed with full awareness, or was he under the consumption of drugs? The following sections of the NDPS Act, Jade, could you just read that?
Yeah. So the following sections of the NDPS Act could possibly apply now, which is Section 22 of the NDPS Act. Anyone who possesses, sells, purchases, transports, or uses any psychotropic substance shall face rigorous imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 year with fine. The section may become applicable in the present case. Section 27 of the NDPS makes the consumption of any narcotic drug or psychotropic substance punishable with rigorous imprisonment for a term that may extend to 1 year or a fine. The section is likely to become applicable. Section 28 of the NDPS Act states that whoever attempts to commit any offence shall be punishable with the punishment provided for the offence. The provision may become applicable in the current case. Under Section 64 of the NDPS Act, the prosecution has the power to tender immunity from prosecution with a view to obtaining the evidence of any person appearing to have been directly or indirectly concerned in or privy to the contravention of any of the provisions of this act.
Okay. So now it was reported on October 3rd that Aryan Khan was carrying cocaine in his eye lens cover. And this was according to the NCB sources. And you remember, when the officer at that time, Sabir Wankhede, was asked, he said it's a result of painstaking investigation that went on for 2 weeks. We acted on specific intelligence inputs. Involvement of some Bollywood links have come to light. Among those brought in for questioning to the NCB office in Mumbai include 3 women, all residents of Delhi. Now, here, what I would like to also tell viewers is that Uh, you know, did it take so many years for Samir Wankade to have decided to become corrupt and to cut a deal? I mean, throughout his career, he had a flawless career, and he proved himself to be exemplary in his nature. Now, I'm not talking about. See, let's not talk about Samir Wankade as a person. Any officer who's righteous and who's patriotic and who works in the interest of the country, you know, has a career that is stellar, and then suddenly decides towards end of the career, that he's going to make a lot of money and that he's going to strike deals or do extortion. I think that is not, we can take that not only with a pinch of salt, we can take it with a bag full of salt. Okay. Now, if this was so innocent as they say, now the lawyers, they say that it's so innocent that this boy did not even have a lollipop in his mouth or his pocket. Now, what I want to know, what is the reason why they had a battery of lawyers? So let's go to their pictures. I think yeah. So let's go. Yeah. So we had first Satish Manishinde, and then we had Mukul Rohatgi, and in between there was another lawyer. I forget his name. Amit Desai. Okay, and then we had finally Mukul Rohatgi was brought in. Now this whole battery of lawyers, plus all the the young little wannabe lawyers also were there, to support the young boy who happened to be the son of a very big superstar. Now, what Rohatgi said is that his honor has been vindicated. NCB should introspect as to why he was hastily arrested for no cause. Senior advocate Amit Desai was part of the team that represented Khan and others seeking their bail in the case following their arrest. Desai was glad that the legal principles had been rightly applied when deciding the question of filing of complaint. Also glad that the department has had the courage and objectivity to do the right thing. Else, sometimes one sees that once an arrest occurs, a charge sheet follows as a matter of course. It is such situations which must make us ponder over the use of the power of arrest. Advocate Satish Manasinde, who was a part of the defense team, along with Rohatgi and Desai, said that Khan's arrest and detention for 26 days was unjustified, particularly when he was not found in possession of any drugs. There was no evidence of any kind, there was no material of any nature which was in violation of any law, much less the NDPS Act. Manishinde was happy that the SIT under Sanjay Kumar Singh investigated the case in an objective manner and decided not to file a complaint against Khan for want of sufficient evidence. Furthermore, the lawyers, the most crucial evidence which was to be given by Prabhakar said, eyewitness, never happened as he died, they say, with a heart attack, or did he commit suicide, or was he bumped off? We don't know. Why did he die? Was it to cover up something important regarding the meeting between Pooja Dadlani and KP Goswami? The probe team, at that time it was reported, the probe team decided to take a statement from Pooja Dadlani, who's the business manager of Shah Rukh Khan, following allegations made by Prabhakar Seth, an eyewitness in a case related to the drug party. It alleged that Pooja Dadlani had offered money to KP Goswami, Sam D'Souza, and Samir Wankade to prevent Aryan from being charged in the drug case. Sam D'Souza, who was facing charges, appeared before the SIT yesterday. Shah Rukh Khan's son is currently being investigated. Okay, so all this happened. Now, during this time, of course, Samir Wankade was removed from the team. Now, here what I want to ask is, if the case was so simple and this boy who drinks milk or has lollipops, didn't have even an ounce of drugs in his body or in his system, then why did they hire so many lawyers? And at every hearing, one lawyer would say that he had this much grams. The other lawyer would say this much grams. Finally, Mukul Rohatgi was brought because the other two lawyers were useless. And they brought in Mukul Rohatgi, who has the brain, that everyone knows that he can manage things. So he came in and he said that, okay, this guy he didn't have anything to him. So what was the role of the other two lawyers? I would like to know. And why was so much money paid? And why did Shah Rukh Khan make so many visits to Delhi? Who were the top politicians that he was meeting to make deals or whatever was being done? Why should Shah Rukh Khan be worried if his son had absolutely no drugs in his body or in his system? He should have just rested at home. He should have slept it off. He should have had confidence in his son, saying that he had absolutely no drugs and he was not dealing with drugs either. Now, here, I would like to play the voice of senior lawyer Kiran Narayan, who actually says that this is a compliment to Samir Wankhede, the patriotic, righteous officer. So, Jadev, can we play the audio bite by, Kiran Narayan, top lawyer in Bangalore?
Yeah.
Please keep it loud.
Yeah.
Minaji, this is Kiran here. I just wanted to share some information or initial light on what's happened with the Narcotics Bureau raid in which Aryan Khan, along with 19 other people, were arrested. Now, the charge sheet has been filed today, and where 14 individuals that were arrested at that point have been named in this charge sheet. It's a 6,000 page charge sheet wherein the agency was given an extension to file the charge sheet so that they were able to get all of the
Can you make it
information that
louder,
they
Jadev?
possibly could get their hands on,
Louder.
as is in cases of this kind. So yeah, I think there is also some talk
And just play
of
it again. Play it again.
the initial unit headed by uh, Minaji. This is Kiran here. I just wanted to share some information or initial light on what's happened with the Narcotics Bureau raid in which Aryan Khan, along with 19 other people, were arrested. Now, the charge sheet has been filed today, and where 14 individuals that were arrested at that point have been named in this charge sheet. It's a 6,000 page charge sheet wherein the agency was given an extension to file the charge sheet so that they were able to get all of the information that they possibly could get their hands on, as is in cases of this kind. So yeah, I think there is also some talk of the initial unit headed by Mr. Samir Wankhede having had some procedural lapses, as they would call it, but these things need to be inquired into further because it's never easy in cases like the NDPS, wherein there's a lot. These are not based on documentation. These are based on tip-offs and informants, and in a very unstructured manner. The agency is also the police need to act on such matters. So I think it's very easy for people like certain vested journalists or otherwise to sit on the outside and say that the unit may not have done a correct job. But I think in this case, where 14 people have been charge sheeted, I think it's a fabulous job by the agency. It's important to ensure that these 14 people who've been named are seen through to conviction. Insofar as Aryan Khan himself is concerned, I know that the public opinion on this is likely to be that another rich kid got away. But the agency is clear that there was no physical drugs found on Aryan Khan, and just to rely on a WhatsApp chat without any corroborative evidence was always going to result in the acquittal of an accused. So they have decided rightly not to name him as an accused, which is not to say that he may not have had a role, but at least there is no evidence against him at this stage. And I think it's right that you don't go after somebody against whom there is no adequate evidence. So on these grounds, I believe he has not been named as an accused along with 5 other people. But what is important to note is that there are 14 people who have been charge sheeted, and they are now going to go through a process of a criminal trial. And if the trial is conducted well and the evidences are presented before the court in the right manner, this could very well lead to the conviction of a good number of them, and we hope that that happens. So I just thought I wanted to share that information with you on the back of the charge sheet that was filed by the Narcotics Bureau in the court today.
Yeah. Thank you, Kiran. Very kind of you. Yeah. So moving back to something interesting that I was while I was digging up, about these people, there was something that I wanted to, point out. Sort of a, coincidence, or I just like to show that. Yeah. So now here, let me just go to this. Okay. Now this NCP officer, we're talking about Gyaneshwar Singh. Gyaneshwar Singh was, an IPS officer of the 1999 batch. Perhaps, Jaydev, you could just make it big so that they can see it. So let me just read it for them. This was some time back. See now, I want to be PS. Now, IPL chief Rajiv Shukla gets an IPS officer as private secretary. I want to be PS or IPS syndrome continues. Now we're talking about the Babus of India. Now, Rajiv Shukla, you all know, who was caught in this case, in that where you of the Don's wife being allegedly gang raped, and he's an important part of the Congress party. Now, he was a minister of state at that time for parliamentary affairs, and newly appointed chief of the Indian Premier League (IPL). Now, what did he do? He roped in an IPS officer as his private secretary. Who was it? Gyaneshwar Singh, a 1999 batch Himachal Pradesh cadre IPS officer, currently working, and at that time he was working as a manager in the Airports Authority of India. Now he became Shukla's private secretary, holding the rank of deputy secretary. Now, moving back, okay, so I would say that, I'm not casting any aspersions, but the fact that this man, Gyaneshwar Singh, was there all the time when this investigation was being conducted by Samir Wankhede, and he was there at all the press conferences whenever Samir Wankhede was clarifying things. Now, to say that these people were not aware of it, all the points that we have raised, the medical report, they did the medical test, okay, the gadgets and the phones were seized because they wanted to do some checkups. So all this was done in the proper official way. Now, any case that happens happens in steps, in stages. You can't say, why did you do it day before yesterday? Just like a child passing from kindergarten to high school, you have to go through the stages. Now, you can't say that the first stage was wrong and whoever did that, messed it up. Now, Singh has also very clearly, the NCB officer, Singh has also clearly said, we're not saying that they botched up. No, but now you're casting aspersions because the media is playing foul. Media like India Today, I'm naming it, media like India Today and CNN, IBN are going ballistic, saying that, putting all the blame on an officer like Samir Wankhede. I mean, NCB has not said that. And this is only what has come out of NCB. This is not the jury. Okay. And the case can be again relooked. That is what we understand. So this is not the end of things for Shah Rukh Khan and his son, that they can go to another 100 Cordelia cruises. This is not the end. There is much more to it. And see, if you're talking about people, as we all know, if you discuss about Samir Wankhede. Now, Samir Wankhede was, the IRS head of Mumbai. And it was during the, after the Sushant Singh Rajput's death, that he, with a small team, instilled fear in Bollywood about massive drug abuse in the industry, by massive launch of cleanup operations in Mumbai and Bollywood of drugs. It looked impossible to control the Mumbai drug mafia, but the continuous action against the dangerous drug mafia in the last 1.5 years, or say rather it will be 2 years, has rattled the illicit drug trade in Mumbai, in Goa, and the Bollywood consumers were shaken. Mumbai had become a haven of dangerous supply of drugs affecting the teenagers. and Samir Wankade had affected daily operations and arrests of drug peddlers in Mumbai. So please don't tell us that he was only targeting Bollywood actors. There were many drug peddlers and dons that he was also attacking. To me, now to say that he's, if the media is going to say that he is, corrupt and he was planning to extort money, you mean to say that catching all these drug peddlers and these drug dons was all wrong? So they are also all free, and that they are innocent people? I also want to know why in 2021 he received the Maharashtra Sanman Award from Governor Bhagat Singh Koshari in 2021. As citizens, we all support any honest officer working for justice, and in this case, it happens to be Samir Wankade. We believe that he has worked honestly and impartially. This is not about X or Y. It is about truth comes first. Satyame Jayate. The guilty should be held accountable, and no innocent should be targeted, whether accused or officers. Citizens have and we as citizens have a right to transparent governance. Today, our channel stands for impartial, transparent system and for justice. In our interactions and news we have seen, we found Samir Wankade to be an upright officer. Now, to suddenly say that, he was the one who was planning to extort money from the biggest superstar of India itself sounds like a big joke. And why? Why was the key witness suddenly gone? Who was he going to expose? And why was this whole thing hushed up about this woman, his business manager's meeting? And all this was, why was it hushed up? And why the frequent meetings to Delhi, which is the center of politicians' hub? Who are the politicians who are compromising in such cases? Shouldn't the Prime Minister look at this in a very serious way? Because if tomorrow my son is an upright, righteous officer working in the interest of the country, and if he gets ripped apart by vultures in a system that doesn't care for law or order, but cares for whose son or whose daughter is, inside jail, then there is no system for us. There's no law and order. Let us not talk about it. It all started with the hounding of the upright, honest officer, targeting his, innocent father, his dead mother, his sister who does social work, his wife, a young actress. Suddenly the whole family became, enemies of a country. And just to save a person. Now again, the media focus has come back on this man. How much can you hound a righteous officer? I'm not talking about Samir Wankade. I'm talking about there will be millions of people like him. And everybody is meeting the same fate as him. If we do not attack corruption at the grassroots level, we will never give justice to anyone, whether it's SSR, Disha, Jia Khan, Janvi Kukreja, nobody. A very sad example has been set today, and don't think we as a public will not fight back. We will fight back to learn every ounce of the truth. And if NCB has ample proof of what's happened, we want to see it. And then only will we admit that something went wrong somewhere. So friends, we will just take some of your comments, Jaydev. So let's just take some of the comments of, and in case we'd like to, give the link as well to friends.
Am I audible?
Yeah, I can't hear you, Jaydev.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. SRK was hiding his face whenever he went to Delhi.
Sorry, am
But
I audible?
your voice is not audible.
Voice is not audible.
Is this voice okay, friends? No, I can't hear you. Okay. SRK was hiding his face whenever he went to Delhi. Why hide? People understand everything. A sad and lame system of this country. Okay, we'll add Meera now. Welcome, Meera.
Yeah, good evening, Meena. Good evening,
Welcome.
Jaydev. Yeah, I've been quite disturbed after hearing this news about Aryan Khan getting a clean chit. I
Yes.
think we are well within our rights as citizens, as taxpayers, to ask our government why this has happened,
Yeah.
basically. Because I feel if the case was so weak and Wankhede was a corrupt person right from the beginning, if they knew all this, then why was Nawab Malik daily basis hounding Samir Wankhede? And
Absolutely.
if he was so corrupt, he would have cut a deal with Nawab Malik to let off his
Exactly.
own son in law. So,
Exactly.
all this, the very fact that this has become, they were literally hounding him, his father, his wife, and everybody, is because they were scared that he would soon be at their doorstep, the politicians,
Yes.
I mean. So, they
Yes.
wanted to obviously nip it in the bud. And that's definitely, I think, the only reason they got him thrown out of NCB. And now I just pray that he doesn't come to any further harm.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So this is what I had to say about
Yeah.
this right now.
Thank you, Meera. Yes, Anu. Welcome.
So, thank you, Meena. Thank you, Jaydev. Yes, as you said, it is a very, it's not a nice day for people who've been following these cases and people who feel very, very strongly about justice and about our country and our society.
I
Um,
beg my food.
it's just as Jaydev said, it's very disturbing. Uh, as you said, Meena, this is not about one. It is not about Samir Wankhede, or it is not about a particular person who's been let off. Nobody's interested in a witch hunt. If the person is innocent, then I mean, it's excellent that the person has been let off, and it is about a system that the more things change, the more they remain the same. With every case, with every officer, with every new government, one hopes and believes that things will change. And invariably, what we find is that the big guns get away and the little fish are caught. And that famous quote that says that justice will not be served until those who are not affected are as outraged as those
Yeah.
who are affected. Now, when we sit back and think, oh, this is drugs happening in maybe one corner of, India, but anything wrong that is allowed to continue somewhere will come back and hit you someday in your workplace, in your home, in you cannot escape that. So I think while we may not be able to secure justice all the time, I think it's important that we never stop speaking up every time we perceive injustice.
Absolutely.
Whatever, I do not know Samir Wankhede, whatever I have seen, whatever I have read, he appears to be an upright and honest officer, and he deserves support. If there is something that he has done that is wrong or an error, for sure, he can be taken to task. But mudslinging, and one more question is, I was hearing you say, Meena, that he has been, heading the NCB for quite a few years. How is it that all this time he was absolutely okay, and suddenly, just over the past year, there is a Pandora's box of all his so-called errors, or it's somehow it that doesn't kind of add up, right? And if things don't add up, that means truth is not part of the equation. Um,
Absolutely.
if Aryan Khan or any of the people is not guilty, good. I mean, I'm very glad for them. Uh, but then again, I mean, I will just let you read between the lines. One doesn't want to say anything, and one doesn't want to cast aspersions. But honest officers must be
See, let
allowed
me tell
to
you
do their
something,
job.
Anu and Meera and Jaydev. See, I got wind of it the moment I read Samit Thakkar's
So, me
tweet.
Thakkars.
Okay, he said he said watch an old video, okay, that is
Yeah.
2013, when the corrupt Congress was in power, okay. And all these ministers, Shinde and all that, coming and hugging Baba Siddiqui and all that, and all these IPS officers and all that. Now, he said, don't look at them, okay, indirectly. Don't look at all of them. Go to this point, 1.24 or something minutes, and look what's happening there. Now, what is happening there? Samir Wankhede is just having some food very quietly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Now, are you telling me that Samit Thakkar, that he's creating some sort of a deal there with Baba Siddiqui, some drug deal? Okay. Now, in which case, then all the chief minister, all these ministers and their chelas should have also been doing the deal. Okay. So so very, very kind of you to bring that out, because you already told us very clearly. Being a journalist, I could sense that the whitewashing of the whole thing has started, which means
Can I come in?
that that not only is Samir Wankhede going to be attacked, and all these people are going to be whitewashed. SSR case is going to be whitewashed. Aditya Thackeray is going to come out like Jesus Christ. So a lot of things are going to come out where they'll be all what do you say coated with milk and honey and sugar. And when he praises one of the ministers, central ministers, a lady minister, the lady minister immediately responds by saying, thank you so much. It's about an Amethi win. Okay. So on a personal note, she thanks him. So what is he craving for? Is he craving for a post, or is he craving to do some work for somebody? And then the next tweet, he said that all these people, Deepika Padukone and all that, NCB is going to re-look at the cases where they were said to be having drugs. So in the end, he says that, see, were they not having it? That sort of thing. So this whole thing was something false. I mean, Samir Wankhede had absolutely no job, and they just picked up 4 or 5 people, and said that let's just harass them for the sake of harassing them. What sort of attitude is this? And this is the BJP. I'm not talking about Congress, or I'm not talking about the Mahavika Aghadi. Samit Thakkar is a right-winger who represents the BJP. Is the Prime Minister watching all this and understanding that there are moles under him who are actually standing in the way of justice? Yes, Meera?
Yes, I was just going to say that the very fact that Samit Thakkar, who's a BJP supporter, came out with that video a couple of days ago, it shows that the central government is very much hand in glove in whitewashing this entire episode.
Yeah, otherwise
And
he wouldn't have had the authority to show it.
Yeah, and obviously we know there are a couple of ministers in the Modi government who are very friendly and very much in touch with Bollywood and have very close connections. So I'm not saying that these so-called small fry ministers can do such big things. So it's obvious that the instructions are coming from the very top, I guess. So I mean, we are well within our rights to ask PMO and Home Ministry that why such things are happening.
See,
This has got nothing to do with Congress.
Yeah,
I feel they are using this as a deal to cut some deal with the NCP or the Maharashtra parties. That's what I feel.
It's very, very funny that when the Ranis said that this girl Disha was gang raped and killed, and they have proof of that, at that time BJP was up in arms. And now you have a single officer who is being targeted and hounded by all the political parties. BJP doesn't have anything to say.
I think it's quid pro quo.
You did everything. You got him transferred to another section, and you told him to shut up. He can't speak anything. So he cannot speak in his defense. Only people like us can rake this up. And
that's because BJP too is not, as we say, doodh ka dula. There are black sheep everywhere. And so they also need to be protected. They need to protect their ministers too. So that's why Samir Wankhede is just the fall guy. I mean, that's all there is to it. And I just hope he doesn't meet the end of Ravindra Patil or, those type of honest officers. He'll spend
Yeah,
the rest of his
Faiz.
life fighting cases now
Yeah,
because Maharashtra police looks all set to hound him
yeah.
from news reports.
Nisha is saying,
So,
extremely disturbed. All the officers who are guardians of our society and country are to be penalized for being honest and brave. What is the message here? Namaste, Minaji. Yes, I'm quite
Which family will allow
disappointed
their
about the news. That means we are all fools to have supported Wankhede. In future, which officer will perform
yeah.
honestly? Yes, Anu?
Yes, and which parents will allow their, you know, will they allow their children or family members to become police officers? And we lose good citizens who'd like to become police officers because their parents. I know I have two grown-up sons. If one of them told me today that I want to become a police officer, I'd just say, just don't, because and that's a sad state of affairs. That's a very sad state of affairs because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
See,
And
what I don't
someday it's going to
understand.
come back and hit every one of us who chooses to keep quiet. We are as complicit as those who are committing the crimes.
Yeah.
We
See,
must speak up.
yeah, Anu, what I don't understand is that you have a leader like Yogi ji saying that, see, telling his team and his people that please do not sign contracts with anybody, who has the mafia under it. Okay? So check every system so that you don't have a mafia under it. Now, here we have whatever is happening today, whatever we have seen today, is support for the mafia. I don't see it as anything else. Instead of, see, we all know what is Bollywood and what is a drug link to it. And to say that nothing happened there and all these people are having cherries, and ice cream, and these WhatsApp discussions are all about, sweets and toffees, who are they fooling?
And people who think that the drug, because we may not be part of the circle that is into drugs, etc., but drug money is the laundering of drug money affects every single aspect of our society and the security of our country. So the sooner we wake up and the louder and sooner we speak up loud and clear so that our voices reach those who make the laws, um, we would be doing a disservice to the country and our younger generations who will be continuing in this country.
See,
It's
Daisy
just
says, yeah, Daisy says CBI has not even filed a single charge sheet in 2 years. They will close Sushant's case unceremoniously. Now, Aryan's case came later, after Sushant's case. How come they are dealing with that at fast pace? I mean, is it because Shah Rukh Khan is the Khan of Bollywood? I mean, why is Sushant Singh's death not important for CBI? So NCB, which is one of the federal agencies that works freely without any government interference, decides to come out with this, but they're not bothered about the SSR case or the Disha case or the Jia case, which they all messed up terribly. Terrible. What are they telling us? What are they telling the public? We don't care two hoots about you. I will become the minister of women. I will become the child minister. I will do what I like. And you can't do a thing because you've already elected us to power. And you will keep on electing us. You are the fools. You will continue to do it.
yes, it does appear that the public, the citizens are being played for fools, and
Yeah.
it's not a nice feeling.
And
It's
once they
just
have power and money in their hands, they can do anything. And they can laugh at us. Today, they are laughing at our face and telling us, who cares about you? We have struck deals, we have formed friendships, and we have sealed everything. Let one poor man, who did his duty, suffer in this manner because we don't care for him. So my message to Samir Wankhede and his family is that we stand with you. We stand with you all the way. We've been doing that right from the beginning. And please do not think that you're isolated in this situation. We are with you. your wife, your sister, and your father in this battle against the corrupt. Dharma against adharma. The same old war that has been waged right from the times of the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. Only thing is, this time the asuras are 10 times more, you know, and spreading their wings. I think we have somebody else who would like to join us.
Before I leave for the others to take on, I'll just say, as Sameer Vankade said, Satyamev Jayate, and more power to honest officers. Thank you, Meena, and thank you,
Anu, for
Jaydeep.
joining us, and thank you, Meera. I'm just going to add. Welcome, Shashi.
Hi, Minaji. Hello, Joy.
Yeah.
Good evening. Hope all is well.
Today, not so.
No, it is. I would say it is. Because from a family perspective, yes, it is a good news for SRK, but from a career perspective, is it a good news?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good news for him from a career perspective. I think with Pathan, he should be, his career should be seeing a sunset now, is what I say. Because now, maybe earlier there was a chance that maybe 20, 30 crores could have been accumulated, but now even that won't be there for that movie is what I see. Simply because of I think it's negative publicity, and these days, as we see, a lot of movies are flopping, including Kangana, whoever. So that way, it's only the movies from the south which is coming up. And Pathan, from what I've heard, it was in shooting right from before the pandemic itself. So that way, I don't think it's good news for any of the cons, not just SRK. For any of the concepts, it's not a good news at all. So that is one thing. And one more thing, see, I'm not surprised really because I gather in Karan Johar's 50th birthday party on 25th of May. SRK was like dancing like anything and all that. So how did he be so happy when 2 days later, maybe a charge sheet is going to be filed? So did you already know that this is going to happen?
Yeah.
So that kinds of gives a huge hint as to how the legal system is being used. So that is one more, and that is the irony of his this okay means when in October when Aryan was arrested, Nawab Malik was shouting at the top of his lungs. He was heaping all kinds of allegations on Samir Wankhede.
Yeah.
And today Nawab Malik is in jail, but Aryan is out. So it's the other way around now. And I really don't know whether it's justice in one way or the other, but yes. And I for sure think that okay, with Nawab Malik being means having connections with Dawood, so in a way, and if at all there was some connection because of which Narcotics Bureau arrested Aryan, and he was in jail for 1 month based on the chats and all that. I really don't know, how it can be said okay that he's totally clean.
Also,
Because for
Shashi,
1 month,
see, very
yeah.
important is that if the NCB can come out and fast track this case,
Mm-hmm.
why didn't NCB fast track and CBI fast track the SSR case? You mean to say there is a priority because one is a very big Khan and the other was an ordinary actor? And on whose basis do these cases get pushed up or down? Do the judges look at that? We need to find out the
Obviously.
truth about all this.
At least in SSR's case, there's a FIR, but in Disha's case, there's nothing actually, and the case is closed. So, and obviously, nobody knew of her till she died. So that speaks a lot about how middle class people are being treated.
Yeah. See, for example,
Getting
Shilpa is saying,
yeah.
poor Prabhakar Sale, murdered to just clean someone's image. Is there no value
Yes.
of life in our country? So well said. Shilpa, you have spoken for all of us. We know exactly what has happened in this man's case. It was not a heart attack. Bumping people has become a habit. You look at the case of how many Bengali actors have just died recently. Does the ministry
Yeah,
care?
kind of 1 week.
Nobody
Yes.
cares. Life has no importance in India.
Now, what about the other two, Binaji? I haven't maybe really heard of them, Manmohan Dhamecha and Arbaz Merchant,
Yeah, same
who are
thing.
also.
They say that the boyfriend causes the depression and all that. It is not that. See, there is extortion in it. The mafia is working under it. And when these women or they don't give in or they don't pay the money, or don't compromise, then they're bumped off. That's it.
No, I'm not sure if they have been given a clean chit. Munmun Damicha and was my assistant
Are you
who were
talking about them?
arrested at
I'm
the
sorry.
same time.
I thought you were talking about the Bengali actresses. Yeah.
No, 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 no.
Munmun
Yeah,
Damicha,
of course.
see, here again, what our lawyer Kiran Narayan says, Samir Vankati has done a brilliant job because 14 people have been charge sheeted. You know,
Mhm.
only two have not been charge sheeted, which means Samir Vankati has done a brilliant job of catching these people. So why is that not being highlighted by the mainstream media? They're talking about him as though he's some scoundrel or some vagabond who's there, forgetting the fact that he has got so many medals and so much honor in his career. I mean, media needs to be pulled up by the government if they talk about individuals like this.
No, now, yeah,
Yes, Shashi.
I don't think, yeah, maybe I trust the public more than these agencies in terms of
Yes.
getting, because we don't know what all would have transferred behind the doors.
Yeah.
So that is what I would like to say. But yeah, it is certainly not good news for SRK from a career perspective, because yeah, now the uproar against him will come out even more. Okay, simply because yeah, I think far too many lives have been lost because of drugs and the kind of whatever it is going on. So I don't think yeah that is going to be forgotten so soon. And yeah. So I don't have anything more to say as because simply because his career is finished.
Yeah. So most
Patan
of
is
us are
totally
saying, yeah,
yeah.
most of the viewers are saying we stand with Samir Wankade, the most honest and upright officer in present day in our century. God will surely prove his integrity in time to come. See, in the midst of all this, also Shashi and Meera, the fact is that there's a lot of jealousy, and envy, I'm sure, within the NCB itself. When you see somebody exemplary, doing their duty with full energy, and you can't do anything but decide to attack him. There are moles within the agency itself, I'm sure. you know
Yeah, very much. See, means my feeling, gut feel is that okay, yeah. See, in 2020, also a lot of these Bollywood celebrities are called by NCB only. So you remember Deepika Padukone, Shraddha Kapoor, so many others, right? After that, nothing seemed to happen. So I think they
Yes.
have got the contacts. I think Bharti Singh was arrested, and then after she was let go of bail, so I think two NCB officers were suspended. So they know
Yes.
how the pulse of NCB, how to get out of whatever charges they have. So they have spread word like this, and this is how they have yeah, made sure that okay, they're not maybe even arrested for even a single day as such.
Yeah.
So now, yeah,
Sure.
Deepika Padukone, she went to Cannes as a jury and something. So
Exactly.
all kinds of honors, but of course, yeah, public has not forgiven her or forgotten whatever has happened. So all her movies after that have only flopped only. So even before, yeah, actually, Corona also Chapak was a big flop, and after that
Yeah.
also flop. Her husband's movies have flopped. So yeah, nothing. See, miss, I think a punishment which has to be given has been given, or it's being given by the public already. And if they are taken into legal custody for whatever is, that is like a bonus now. If that is not happening, that is doesn't matter for the public. Yeah, they will ensure that okay, their careers are finished. That's it. They will go to any lengths to do that.
Yeah. So we have. I have just got a message from from a friend saying that see, closure report is not annexed with charge sheet, and without closure report, rest all six will be considered as accused on bail. So this is very important, friends. Just note this. These are some of the details. The closure report is not annexed with charge sheet. Without closure report, rest all six will be considered as accused or bail. So a lot of things will come now. I'm sure. I'm just waiting for waiting to hear more about this. And let not Shah Rukh Khan or his son think that they have escaped from all this and put others, innocent people, into problem.
Yes. And coincidentally, Minaji, see, means today I think is his second son Abram's birthday. And maybe this was given as a birthday gift to him, but I don't think he would have chosen a worse time than this because yeah, this will
In
surely
fact,
impact MB
Shashi,
next
what you said is
next
so
week.
true because the main person, I forget his name, Karan. the top lawyer who was working with Mukul Rohatgi, he was saying that he had a very casual dinner with Shah Rukh Khan and his wife, and they were so happy and hunky dory. Everything was so hunky dory, you know.
Yes,
But you can see
yes.
from his face when the anchor is interviewing him. We're talking about Times interviewing him. The lawyer, the senior lawyer, is so edgy and so cagey because they want to be very careful about what they talk. They don't want to be caught. You know, so many things to
Obviously.
hide. You know, and they said that, see, do you think any political interference, the anchor asked, any political interference would have helped Aryan Khan? This guy got scared. He's a big businessman. He's still scared. How much money are they going to hold on to? Can't they speak the truth? If they speak truth, they won't be able to make money out of people like Shah Rukh Khan.
No, that's not the point. And then yeah, Rajiv Shukla means he's a close friend of Sir K. Minaji, and you know Rajiv Shukla.
And close friend means now also of the NCB.
Yeah, and Rajiv Shukla is close to one of the
You're talking about
business.
Ganesh Singh.
Yes, that is what I
Soon we will
gathered.
see that perhaps Salman Khan will become the ambassador for Maharashtra.
Then yeah, I don't know what will happen. But anyway, it's bad timing. BMC elections are around the corner, and this will have an impact on that also. Shiv Sena, I really don't know what can save them now, because they are the ones who are always winning for 20 years in BMC. But no, that is what I was hearing in one of the other news channels. That yes, it doesn't go with them.
See, what I don't understand, Shashi, is when you are in the government service and you're given a job, you do it to your 100% capacity. Okay. Now, if it doesn't suit the big bosses, then everything that you have done is wrong. Everything you've done is wrong. And not only what you
Don't
have done, but your sister and your wife and your mother and your father, even the dead mother, what they have done is all wrong. Then they'll dig about something about your house, saying that even your house is, illegal property.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
how it
It's
works.
obviously I don't think there'll be any building in Mumbai which would have not been flouted these rules and all that. So that's a given actually. But yes, it's in more ways than one. I think it is only doing more damage to to Bollywood also, and in also to the political parties. I gather now even Mukesh Ambani is not in Mumbai. He shifted to London after that episode happened because of Sachin was there. So look at that, and he being such a huge businessman, one of the or rather the richest businessman in India, if he is not feeling secure, I don't know where else can. Yeah, that is what I got to know. He's now in London.
See, another
He's got a
thing I
huge
also want
property.
to tell the viewers, Shashi and Meera, is that, see, as he's working, Samir Wankade is not working only independently. Of course, there are other people above him who are also monitoring what they are doing, especially when in
Mm,
such high profile cases. At that time, everything seemed hunky dory for them. Why was it that at that time they didn't pull in? It took so much time to understand that Samir Wankade is actually a very corrupt person who will go to the extent of extortion, from a very big superstar, and will make money and then just retire. Are these top officers also, responsible for the behavior of their junior officers? And suddenly they come out with press conferences saying that, see, they made a mistake, they did this, they did that. As public, we want proof. Where did they make
Meena,
mistakes?
Meena, it's just a
Yeah,
question
Mira.
of money. It's just a question of money talking.
Yeah,
All that is fine. I mean, people with deep pockets can get out of any crime in this country. That's pretty clear. See, the other 14 who are still charge sheeted or no, I mean, they didn't get out because their parents don't have the kind of resources Aryan Khan has,
yeah,
Shah Rukh Khan has. But at the end of the day, I just want to conclude by saying the buck stops with the Home Ministry and PMO because central agencies are under them. So
yeah.
we need to ask them questions and they need to give us answers. Otherwise, faith in all the central agencies will just be eroded. I mean, what can we
Absolutely.
expect in future? So that's all I have to say. I think Samir Wankade is in for a very tough time unless the central government backs him. which doesn't look as if it's going to happen from the looks of the kind of
See,
association
funny thing is,
ministers
Meera,
have.
yeah, funny thing, Meera and Shashi, is that Samit Thakur was sort of predicting things in his tweets, saying, look and watch,
Mhm.
what's going to happen. All the details of the Cordelia cruise are with the central government, okay? All that. How does he get all these details? He's just a small BJPite. How does he know what is happening in the ministry, in the center, and he's giving out small leakages as though he is some sort of a spy or something? So how does he know that what the center is doing, whether it is Amit Shah or whether it's Rajnath Singh or whoever? How does he know the details? Who is feeding him all this?
It's
This is
The
obvious he's
something
way
being
the Prime
used.
Minister needs to look into. How are these
It's,
people getting information and
it's
these kind
obvious
of leaks?
he was being used by the BJP media cell and
Yeah,
certain ministers to lay the ground for this. What happened today?
yeah,
So I mean, they all part of the game. No political party is above all this.
yeah.
So we can't pin our faith on X, Y, and Z party. They're all the same. Like they say in Hindi, hum mein sab nange hain. That's exactly the situation with our political parties. So we are slowly going to lose faith, I think, in what they are up to.
On our side, what
Yeah,
we can say,
Meena,
Shashi,
what I want to say is,
yeah, please say, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yes,
No, no,
Shashi,
what I was
yeah,
going to say was, see, yeah, there will be people who will claim to be maybe having sources within the central government who might be giving this and that and all that. Tell me one thing, what has come out of SSR's case? What has CBI found? Has even one update come? Even through such channels? No. So till the time I think CBI will come forward and say that this, yes, it is a murder, I don't think we should believe anybody.
mm.
This is what we can maybe speculate, we can show them evidences and all that, but till
See,
the
no,
time
Shashi,
CBI will come
no,
forward.
no, you still don't understand.
Mhm,
The big whitewash has started. Okay,
mhm,
Aditya Thackeray is going to go to Varanasi
mhm,
and he is going to pray there. Okay, already things have started moving
mhm.
in that direction. You look at Disha Salian's parents, the boyfriend, the friends, everybody saying that she was such a weak girl, she committed suicide after drinking.
Mhm,
Okay, then
mhm.
now this what Samit Thakkar has said. So everything is going towards that, and then you see in Devos, you see Aditya Thackeray posing with Sadhguru. Now, Sadhguru
Yeah,
is running after preservation of soil, and he is the, what do you call the
environmental.
soil environment minister, Aditya
Yeah,
Thackeray. So, don't you see the
yeah.
links? Everybody is linked to each other. There is some sort of, what do you call connection between these politicians, these people, all of them. And nobody stands for a righteous, upright officer. That has clearly been showed today. And NCB, see, I would say that the NCB has absolutely no shame because tomorrow it can happen to them as well. These people who went on press conferences, it can happen to them tomorrow. Don't think that, every day is sunny.
No, Meenaji, means see, Samir Wankhede was, or rather, he's being targeted because he was upright and honest. But who else has come forward like him? I don't think anybody. Even after he was replaced by Sanjay Singh, what did Sanjay Singh do? I don't think he has done anything as such. No, Miss at least previously we used to see that okay, we are 33 people were arrested and the drugs were being busted here and there and all that. But after that, yeah, after Samir Wankhede was his deputation was over on 31st of December. What happened? I don't think we have got any update about NCB as such, like how it used to happen during the Samir Wankhede tenure.
Yeah. See,
So that is a public support is there now. Public
yeah.
support is certainly
See,
there.
one thing,
Maybe the impact is nothing. Yeah.
yeah. See, one thing, Sashi, is that, see, the tendency is always to isolate, a pure soul, and stand with the wicked.
See, they can
And it's
isolate
happening
one
today.
person, but how can they isolate the public who stand with him? I don't think they can isolate any public, right?
That's why you see social media
Yeah,
has
so he's
become so
not alone.
strong,
Yeah,
and
he's not
channels,
alone.
like us, we now exposing all this. So I mean, we are all standing with it.
Yeah, he's not alone at all. So how can they isolate him? Maybe during SSR's lifetime, he might have felt alone because he hardly anybody was looking at okay what is going on in his life and all that. But now that's not the case. We are all socially connected. We are all knowing who is what and all that. So Samir Venkataji is not alone at all. So if the people think that okay, if these political leaders think that okay, yeah, this he's alone, we can isolate him. See, they haven't seen the impact of the public boycott yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so means now I hear Karan Johar has bought a means a restaurant or something like that. So why is he turning into a restaurant business now? Because he knows his career in Bollywood is over. Why did he announce that okay in OTT only his show will come, Coffee with Karan and Kapil Sharma show there? So means that impact is still to be felt by Bollywood, Meenaji. That is what we should realize.
See what
So all we
Devanushi is
have to do
saying.
is continue to do whatever we are doing right now.
Yeah. What Devanushi is saying, will public outrage or public sympathy help the innocent against the corrupt judicial system? I really
It will.
wonder.
It will. It will not immediately, but it will. Because yeah, I think now it's about the 140 crore against these few top 0 point some percentage of the rich population.
Yeah.
So
And also, we
obviously
should not
we
forget
all know who
that
should
the
be.
biggest move that Samir Wankade made was put Ria in jail. Something none of them could do. So, I mean, he's done a lot of things, and our congratulations goes to him.
Yes, yes, obviously. So yeah, a lot of things he has achieved in such a short span of
Short
NCP,
time. Yeah.
and now public knows
Mm.
what is going on. So obviously it'll take the means whatever means it will be well within the legal limit. Like boycott Bollywood is not illegal. We will continue to boycott it. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
Meera, any
rebate take
last word
another
from
two,
you?
3 years.
Yeah.
That's all I
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah, I just want to conclude by saying that yes, public is will support Samir Wankhede, but at the end of the day, when he gets hounded by the authorities, he'll be all alone because he'll be spending the rest of his time fighting court cases, and he may be
Yeah.
suspended for all you know. And by the time he clears his name, many decades would have passed because, as you know, justice is so slow. Sidhu gets 1 year after 30 years for a
Mm.
manslaughter,
Yeah, absolutely.
alleged manslaughter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Samir Wankhede needs our support and he'll get it. But
Yeah.
more than us, he needs the backing of the central government, whom we have pinned so much hope, like they are the best option
Yeah.
available, etc. So they shouldn't be complacent and just let this
Not
case
only
and the
that,
SSR
yeah, not
case
only
and
that,
all that.
Meera. See, whenever Modi ji is talking in Man Ki Baat and addresses the youngsters, can he tell them that see, they should be righteous and smart and patriotic like Samir Wankhede?
Exactly. Nobody would want to send their children, like Anuradha said, into this line. An honest officer either gets transferred a million times in his career span or he gets suspended. So, why would honest people want to come in public service? So, Modi ji should stop all the talk and act. I mean, we are his supporters, but we are also running out of patience.
And
That's
also,
all I
see,
have
something
to say.
very frankly that we need to talk about, Shashi and Meera and all the viewers, is that any
Mhm,
ministers who have links with Bollywood should be thrown
mhm.
out.
I was exactly thinking of law and order
However
minister.
harsh I may sound, this is the truth because that's where the compromise starts. Okay, just throw them, bag and baggage out. We don't want any actors or actresses or directors or producers in our government. Is that so difficult?
Not at
But
all.
then obviously it looks
Honestly,
like they have some kind of control over the top brass. Otherwise, why isn't it happening when so much hue and cry is being made by people like us on social media and elsewhere that there are a couple of ministers who are very much aligned with Bollywood, who have dubious pasts and records. But
Yeah,
PMO is obviously not heeding to all this. So we need to find out that also.
yeah. So on that note, Meera and Shashi, we'll end this
sure,
session. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, and we'll
sure.
continue to
Thank
stand with
you.
Samir
Good
Wankhede and
night.
his family. And wherever we have to fight for justice, we will be doing that. As we go towards the death anniversary of Sushant, we are also taking up stories on that and continue to remind the people that we need justice. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you. Right.
Good night.